We are fighting the sense of chaos, the sense of not getting things done. And the resolution for chaos and not being to the point is Zen and Zap. You want to be calm, you want to be super essential and easy to use, but you want to be very effective.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Ecommerce Coffee Break podcast. And did you know that your work's group chat is quietly killing your business? Missed orders, burnt out team members, and customer data sitting in WhatsApp forever. It's a problem many e-commerce teams feel every day, but if they don't see it, that it is happening, it's a problem. Today, we're going to fix that. Joining me is Guy Weiss. He's the CEO and founder of ZenZap. He comes from the world of cybersecurity and built ZenZap to give e-commerce teams a clean, secure, and truly professional way to communicate. So let's get started. Guy, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. Nice to be here.
Guy, let's dive into it. What's the core problem with using personal chat apps for work?
Well, so I think everybody feels it, but essentially businesses, especially frontline / people that are heavily lean on mobile, e-commerce, retail stores, they're all running on operating on using tools. Weren't built for work. We end up use the fastest and efficient way to communicate. And that's probably WhatsApp or text messages. It creates three areas of problems. It's the separation between work and private communication. It creates security issues for the business, data that stores on employees' phone and whatever sits on their phone, even if they leave. So secrets and your business IP. Onboarding, offboarding employees, like so many different aspects of those things. And productivity. How do you make sure your business runs smoothly and you operate on time? And in e-commerce, the fast delivery is making sure everything is on time, making sure your inventory is in place. All of those things are directly lined into how your business operates. And all of those things are broken when using private messaging apps to run and operate with your team.
Mm-hmm. I want to touch on all of these topics. So let's unfold them a little bit for our listeners. First of all, this always on culture, specifically with chat. How does that drain a team? What's the negative impact there?
The hidden cost of always on culture, that's the worst part of separation, because you cannot have a mental disconnection between your personal life and your work life. So you probably feels like a blurred line between work and private communications. And how do you see that? You see that by getting notifications late at night from groups you're part of, but the notifications weren't meant to get to your hands, but you're just there. So it's just like a shout out every now and then, things that are not really related to you or your responsibilities. Making your private life goes into your work day. So when you work and you're, I don't know, for me, it's my wife sending me a text message saying, hey, can you this and that? And I'm really not available to answer right now, but I'm online. So I really feel like the obligation to answer, although I'm actually working. But for her, it seems like you're online. What's the problem? Just answer me. So a lot of small parts of your day, you're kind of like burned out from this unblurry lines. It's similar to having a Gmail being used for work and private communication, but the only difference is that with Gmail you don't have the need to be to answer quickly and to be responsive, and that's making instant messaging and private messaging apps even worse when talking on business environment. So that's basically where we see the pain, especially for larger organizations. Think about 50 people team. So many notifications, so many messages, and because you have no ability to structure the communication, so it all goes back into like, I don't know, 1 or 2, 3 group chats. So it's a huge mess.
Mm-hmm.
You miss things. Anyway, it's a big destruction.
I can totally relate to that. And I think all of our listeners might have the same problem there. Now, you're coming from the world of cybersecurity. And I think that's the second point that I want to touch on. Mixing business and private in one app, it's probably not a good idea when you're dealing with data of your company. Talk me through it. What's the biggest risk there?
Yeah, so I think there are two risks. The first risk is, I guess, two risks. One is for employee, but it's not really a risk. It's just an outcome. And the big security risk is for the business. Think about you as a business owner running your entire show on, let's call it WhatsApp. You can't avoid by sending invoices, claims, dirty talks about customers, prices, suppliers, like everything that is basically your business IP is basically out of your hands when you click send, because it is the message is being delivered to so many devices, your employees, aka your employees, stored on their device. And even if you let them go and you ask them or make them leave the group chat, everything is stored on their phone until that point of time. So all your data is basically their data is being backed to their private cloud. So when operating on WhatsApp or any other private messaging app, I don't have anything against WhatsApp. We love WhatsApp. Basically, all your information, all of your IP, all of your secrets, all of the way you operate as a business is not being owned by you. And I think you're working pretty hard to sustain a business and grow a business. And basically, you're letting your data go every day by choosing to work on those type of platforms.
Mm-hmm.
The second risk is obviously, how you control data, how you make sure you can archive data and get an access and search data, how you make sure there's no vulnerabilities getting, PDFs without being scanned for antiviruses. So somebody sends you or your business a malicious code and like a PDF or a video. So there are cybersecurity risks and encryption risks, and there are security risks. Like, how do you secure your data? How do you secure your business? Two different risks, and both of them cannot be handled in private messaging apps.
No, it makes perfect sense. And I think if you're running a business, you want to make sure that you keep the business. You might have some turnover with employees, and then one of a sudden you can't access the data anymore because they left and have it on their phone. So that's the worst case scenario that I can imagine. Now, I obviously came up with the idea for ZenZap. Talk me through how did the idea started and what makes the difference between ZenZap and other direct messaging apps?
So we started the company with a simple core, I would say simple, just core business problem. In the tech industry, you have solutions like Slack or Microsoft Teams for enterprises, and we find them quite too broad for the use case. All right, it's more of a collaboration tools, platforms, rather than a quick, simple, instant messenger. So that's making it not accessible, not too costly, too complex for the use case of most of the businesses out there, especially retail and e-com. And on the other hand, you have private messaging apps, which are amazing in the speediness and how they deliver the experience and what they can bring in terms of setting up team members and make them run smoothly because everybody knows how to use it. So the effectiveness there is amazing, but there are missing parts. Those reasons we've gone through and lack of structure, lack of security, lack of separation, lack of productivity and connectivity, which we'll talk about in a second, makes them not enough good tools. And then we kind of like had this realization where WhatsApp is amazing in the experience level, but they lack the business needs. And those business collaboration tools are great on giving CIOs and IT managers the features, but they forget the user. And that's how we decided to kind of like come up with the idea for ZenZap. And then the name ZenZap is, all right, we want it as simple, fast, feels like personal messaging app, but actually built for business. And we said, okay, so what's the enemy? What are we fighting? We're not fighting WhatsApp. We're not fighting, Teams, Slack. We are fighting the sense of chaos the sense of not getting things done, and the resolution for chaos and not being to the point is Zen and Zap. You want to be calm. You want to be super, super essential and easy to use, but you want to be very effective. You want to zap things very quickly. So ZenZap um, was our choice to bring a familiar and accessible chat that is secure and comply, that is connected to your work tools, and it makes you productive, but in a Zen and a Zappy way. So everyone knows how to use it. It's simple. It's intuitive. It's fun. So that's how we came across this name.
I like the name. It's a great idea, and I think it summarizes what people want and people need. Now, obviously, integrations, and you mentioned that integrations, APIs are very important for businesses. And there's this gap. You said if you have Slack, for instance, tons of integrations there. WhatsApp, not that much. So you solved the problem. Tell me about what kind of integrations do you have? How does the integration work?
Yeah, so I think as I mentioned, integrations is a super broad word. You can integrate via APIs and code yourself or vibe codes nowadays, and you can do more of an Apple style productization where you just like you get 80% of what you want, but it's super easy to access those 80% of the features. We have both ways. We have the APIs, and we have an app store within ZenZap where you can, in few clicks, connect any app you use. And I give you the ecom classic stack an example. You run your business on Shopify. You have, I don't know, 20 people running with you and working with you around the clock. You have 5-6 different dimensions of your business. It's new orders, or maybe large orders. You have bad reviews that getting in the way. You have failed payments. You have end of inventories. So you want to make a reordering. You have so many things and moving parts throughout this journey of setting up an e-com business. And I used to own a fairly large UK e-com business called the Everything £5. I used to be one of the owners. So I know what I'm talking about. It's a rough business. So all of those things are being handled in two separate ways. You get notifications, what we call the silo database. Everything goes through, I don't know, Yotpo or Shopify or whatever, or Stripe, and it stays there. The max is you get an email notification, and everybody misses those things. And then you have the team that is, operates in a group chat that is separate from the business. So think about onboarding to a tool, 5 clicks, and everything is out of the box, ready for you and your team, with the right people in the right context, getting the right messages on time to support smooth operation and make things run efficiently. So if there's an end inventory for a specific shoe, the right team will get a notification to their phone. Nobody misses it, and nobody can tell you, well, I know 100 messages went through this group chat, I missed it. No, it's a specific place for those specific items. It's your responsibility, and I can see those whenever you see that. So you had to be responsible for that. So I think about connectivity is not just to integrate, is to enable workflows and how your business operate be better. And that's how we see integrations. Integration is the how, it's not the what. The what is to make e-com businesses run smoothly with a team that operates around those jobs that needs to get done on a daily basis. So that's basically how we view integrations and what are we aiming for. And I can get into specifics, but it's all like, few clicks and integrated. No need to be technical, no need to know APIs, just like super easy. So it's an out of the box main workflows for e-coms to run smoothly with their team.
I love that you mentioned that e-commerce business is a rough business and that you have been in for so long. I think a lot of our listeners now nodding like I do their head and saying, yeah, it's rough. I just had a long call yesterday with somebody running a medium-sized business, and yeah, it's a rough business. There are so many moving elements and parts in there.
I can share a personal story. I started after being 6 years in cybersecurity. I started a bootstrap company called Stock Media. We used to help large marketplaces like Amazon, eBay, Walmart to drive quality traffic to their sites. We were very big, and the company got acquired pretty quickly after 2.5 years. We had a lot of price comparison websites and product search back in 2015. Um, and since then, I'm very close to e-commerce, and I am an investor in many D2C businesses. So I see many of those rise and fall, and I see the complexity. And I used to run a company called, as I told you, Everything 5 pound, where we sold fast fashion for £5 in the UK. So I know how hard e-com business is, and I know what it takes to run the operations of it, because a successful e-commerce business is all about operations. It's all about making sure the moving parts and everything runs like a symphony. So I really, really feel the pain, and I really know what I'm talking about. So I feel very confident by saying those stuff.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So communication is the key there. And talking about communication, talk me through basically you're working with a lot of brands, different size brands. What kind of results when it comes to productivity and better communication did they see when they switched over to your solution?
First of all, we work with not just e-commerce businesses. All right, we work with, for example, we have an e-commerce business that integrates a Monday or Shopee or Asana. So we have also project management companies and architects or whatever. But when I drill down to e-commerce, the general rule is 70% reduction in the time to onboard a new employee. And why is that? Because they have access to history. They can do AI search within the chat. So when they have a question, they don't need to shout out in the group chat and ask. They have all the historical data being delivered to their hands super easily, super quickly, with like local small business GPT. So onboarding new employees is a huge thing for businesses. We cannot quantify really, and it's actually interesting for me to check, but the time and the net promoter score of I look at ZenZap and I try to measure it as a net promoter score, like NPS, but to do a reverse NPS, not saying how satisfied are you with ZenZap, by asking, now that you have ZenZap, how angry would you be if I'll take ZenZap from you and you need to revert back to WhatsApp? And that's the perfect question. And the answer is 100% don't do that. It's just going to harm us. So that's the first thing. But regarding, we see quicker time for handling what they say as tickets, because they have internal tickets like bad review, who gonna comment, what's the comment, let's chat about what we want to answer for him. So all of those things being shrinked into just get things done. I'm not sure how to quantify it, but I'll come back with an answer. For that.
I think for our listeners, I mean, after we were talking for a while, it becomes very, very clear this is something that is a must-have in the business. A question from my side is, when is the right moment to switch over to your tool? And is there any kind of homework that the business needs to do before they can get started?
All right, so that's a beautiful question, because I think for specifically for e-commerce, let's split the conversation into a very small team, 1, 2, 3, 4 people, and more than that, right? We have businesses of 800 and 1,000 people working on ZenZap, and even more. By the way, we have hospitals and et cetera, hotels and other categories. But I think that as a small team, you have the benefits of making operations smoother around the events going in your business. and making you very effective of how you operate around those events. For a larger team, it also creates a good boundary of a digital workspace for this company as a professional place for us to work. Handle to-dos, and of course, using those events as a part of the workflows. But for small teams, it's not about team communication. It's more about being an efficient business and try to grow as quick as possible and compete with incumbents or with your larger competitors. And for the bigger ones is to create a culture, is to create a way to work and operate, because a small team is not like a 50, 60, 70, 100 people team. It's a different HR play. I'll just give you an example. Privacy. Staff's privacy, actually, like teamwork and privacy. Think about somebody from sales being in a group chat with a girl, I don't know, from customer support, and now having her number and can show up in her WhatsApp privately just because he wants to in her private chat, and creates harassment. So those kind of issues are a big thing when you grow up as a company. So you wouldn't want to have the high personal details flag on ZenZap. So even if we work in the same place, I don't need to have your phone number. I can ask you for your phone number, but I don't need to have it as a result of being in the same group chat. So that's where the line cut. Regarding how quick your grandma can use ZenZap, it's easy as WhatsApp.
Okay.
You can migrate. Actually, we have an ad coming soon with a grandma that trying to use ZenZap. But it's a zero friction to onboard. We have companies that onboard in less than an hour. You can migrate all your WhatsApp groups into ZenZap. So you can import thousands of messages and A, get control of those messages and data. B, use them for AI to start learning from them and make them as a knowledge base for your company. And make the transition smoother, so you continue from the same place you stop. You don't need to create a new workspace. So we allow all of those things to happen super quickly. So onboarding is a non-issue.
For me, that sounds like a no-brainer to use ZenZap. Now, key question is, how does your pricing work? What kind of pricing structure do you have?
The product is for free. It has almost no limitations. So as a team, you can use it for free for as long as you wish, with how many users you would like to. You can upgrade into two types of plans. The first plan is Pro, second is Business. You get extra features in each, but they're not a must. We have, 70% of our workspaces uses the free version. It's amazing for them. And the cost is super cheap. Just to give you a sense, for the Pro plan, which is super extensive, for 100 people, you would pay around, I think, $100 per month. So it's incredibly cheap. As I told you, ZenZap wants to be accessible and affordable for everyone. So we're not going to be pricey. We want to be a tool for real operators, real people, real businesses, not for the tech industry. And not that I have something against, but there are so many businesses out there that deserve a proper communication tool, and we don't need to rob them with high prices. We have enough market to chase. It's a huge market, so we're going to stay with low prices.
Okay, perfect. Now, final question before we come to the end of our coffee break today is, where can people go and find you?
Just Google it. YouTube it. You just go to App Store or you go to Google and you see some content. We invest a lot in videos to make, as I told you, accessible, to make all the data accessible and easy to understand. We have videos for managers and for business owners that explain to them what's the upside, who needs it, who doesn't need it, who needs to stay wherever they are. We have video for teams. If you want to onboard your team, you can share a quick video with your team to tell them why they want to have ZenZap in their work life, why it's good for them. So we have content available across the web. We're super active in creating easy and fun content, so you can just check it out.
Perfect. For our listeners, I will make it even easier. You find the links in the show notes, and then ZenZap is just one click away. Guy, thanks so much for your time today. I think it's a no-brainer. There is you can use it for free. It has all these features in there. And for our listeners, go check it out. I don't think you will regret it, and you probably will move away from WhatsApp or whatever you have right now to ZenZap. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you.